Isn't it crazy that people are being treated as if they owe this world something? As if before they were born, they signed an agreement that they're going to do something in this world. It bothers me when I see kids being sent to school when they are very young, before they could even discover what they're interested in, before they could even discover what they like. They get sent to school before they could even think. And they are supposed to make it. They're supposed to pass. They're supposed to learn things that they're being taught at school. And if they don't learn these things, if they don't pass, their parents get angry. They feel like their kids are failures, as if they're supposed to make it through school. What their parents are not even realizing is that schools are actually created to brainwash their children. Schools are actually created to train their children to become slaves. Schools are created to train children to become slaves, so that when they grow up and have to work, they don't really rebel, because they've been trained from a very young age to obey. Think about it. They are supposed to go to class at a certain time. If they are late, their teacher is going to punish them. They're supposed to ask their teacher if they want to go outside. If they want to go to a toilet, they're supposed to ask their teacher. If they cannot make it to school, they're supposed to explain to their teacher the next day why they couldn't make it to school. They are supposed to only go out and eat when the bell rings. That whole process is training your kid to become a slave, to think that this is normal. It's normal for them to be told what to do, when to do it. It is normal for them to ask someone for permission. That's what they're being trained for. They're being trained to become slaves. That's what parents do not realize. When you bring your child into this world and you send them to school, they are going to be trained to become a slave, just like you have been trained to become a slave. That is something that you'd realize if you were actually taught how to think. In fact, you don't necessarily have to be taught how to think. If you did not go to school and get brainwashed, you'd actually know how to think for yourself. And you'd actually realize that actually there's something wrong with this system. There's something wrong with bringing a child into a world where they'll be forced to do things that they don't even like to do. Kids know exactly what they like, right? The reason why they don't like school is because they don't want to be slaves. They want to be free. Kids know that shit. They know that shit. They know exactly what they're interested in. But you, as a parent, teach your kid to neglect their gifts, to let go of things that they're interested in, and just do what the system wants them to do. Don't you think that is slavery? Don't you think that is slavery? Do you know how hard it is to study a lot of bullshit that's not even going to help you in the future? There are a lot of people who are sitting with degrees right now, who are waiting for employment because they don't know what to do with their lives, because they weren't trained to fend for themselves in a way that is natural. They weren't trained to become kings. They were trained to become slaves, So they don't know what the fuck to do. They're just sitting with their degrees without any clue on what to do. So parents have to realize that their kids ain't learning shit. They are being brainwashed, all right? Schools are just teaching your children what is going to prepare them for what's to come, which is their enslavement. Because when they become adults, and then they're going to be slaves. They have to be obedient slaves, and they should not even realize that they're slaves. That is why they are being trained from a very young age to be obedient, to not break the law, to not break the rules, to listen to their masters, listen to their teachers, as if their teachers have all the answers. There's something wrong with that, don't you think? Isn't it weird that you, as a parent, don't know what to do with your child? You just bring them here and then you send them to school. You trust other people to teach your kids what they need to do in this world. You don't trust yourself. There's something weird, about that. Slavery hasn't ended, Slavery just took another form. Humans will always be slaves. Animals will always be slaves. If the animals that we're abusing became smart, what do you think we'll do? We'll create new systems to imprison them. It's not like, we'll be like, okay, now that you're smart and then you're going to have rights. No. That's not what we want. We're just going to create new systems that they're not really going to understand. We're just going to up our game. And that's what happened, Slave owners just up their game. We're still slaves. Nothing changed. It's just that they up their game so people don't realize that they are slaves. So that they do what they are told, the same way that slaves will do what they were told. They work for minimum wage, in order to just buy basic essentials. Slaves were working, for the same things as well. They don't have rights, but they're given the illusion of right. Slaves were treated like that as well. They are being brainwashed every day. They're only taught what is going to make them or turn them into obedient slaves. That's what slave masters were doing to slaves as well. So slavery has not ended at all. It just took a different form, all right? People were becoming smarter. People were realizing, no, fuck this shit. Something is wrong with the system. That's what people were realizing. So the slave masters had to up their game. A lot of parents who are dumb just think that, their kids are smart when they pass at school, like when they get straight A's. No, man. They're not smart. I've met a lot of educated people and debated with them, and I was like, what the fuck? Like people that I used to, admire when I was young. I would think, oh, these people are really, really intelligent. Now I debate with these people and be like, damn, I'm a fucking god. That's how I feel. I know I'm sounding arrogant right now, but that's how I feel when I debate with these people, because I realize that they cannot think. All right, their heads are just filled with useless information. When you're debating with them, they cannot come up with their own ideas. They're just telling you what they've been taught. They cannot think for themselves. They don't have that ability. Being able to think for yourself is the rarest ability. People who can really think for themselves are very few in this world. We are outnumbered. Right? Many people don't think. I'm telling you, many people do not think. All right? Because they've been trained not to. They've been trained to just obey those that are above them. Do you understand that? You gotta see the world as it really is in order to realize this. All right? We're slaves. Nothing changed. They just upgraded the game, They don't give a fuck about us. It's very weird when when people think that those that are running the show, those that are running the game care about them. Like, what the hell? They even convince you that they care about you. Do you know that there were slave owners that convinced their slaves that they cared about them? Do you know what caring about a person really means? If you care about someone, you're going to want to set them free. You're not going to treat them as if they are your slave, you know? There's something wrong with that. They don't care about us. They only care about what we are able to do for them, you know? So people got to think, man, and stop bringing more slaves here. It's crazy that slaves used to reproduce. Do you see how dumb humans are? Slaves used to reproduce, bro. How crazy is that? Even though they were treated like shit, even though they could see that there were people who were treated way better than they were being treated, even though they were able to see that there are people that are living in luxury, while they have to work, you know, while they have to just wake up very early in the morning and work for these people. But they still brought children into this world, and knowing damn well that their children were going to become slaves, even though they weren't guilty of anything, you know, they didn't do anything wrong. That's like being locked up in a prison where you're told that, your children are going to have to be here as well. Nobody's getting out, and you still reproduce. Don't you see that you only be doing that because you're an idiot? I mean, there's nothing dope about it. There's nothing intelligent about that. You will only be reproducing because you're an idiot. You do not owe this world anything, and your child does not owe this world anything. You know, people gotta set themselves free, man. You know, and start doing what they like. Thank you.